Nothing. Over to your right, though, you can see an okapi. It's been a long day, y'all. Alright, now the okapi looks very similar to a zebra, but it's not. It's actually the closest cousin known to the giraffe. Over to your left, you can see a black and white bird called a saddle-billed stork. They do not vocalize to communicate, and so they rattle their bills, like shaking maracas at each other. Now, again, my friends, with the Minnie Mouse ears, no food, no snacking, no comida, no food. So close the popcorn. Thank you so much. All right. All right. Now, another animal you can sometimes find out here is the black rhino, and I see one over across the water hole to your left-hand side. They have what's called a prehensile pointed upper lip. Prehensile is what I'm going to use a couple of times today, so go ahead and memorize it. It means that something on the animal can be used like an extra hand to grab things with. So the black rhino will use its pointed upper lip to grab branches and leaves to snack on here in the forest, whereas their cousins, the white rhinos, have a wide upper lip that's perfect for eating grass on the savanna. Over to your right-hand side, we got two different types of antelope and a better view of a saddle-billed stork. Now, the orange-colored antelope, those are bongos. Please don't call out to them in any way, just enjoy the view. Now, both the male and the females have those horns that lean back and they can push their way through the underbrush forest easier without getting tangled up. The light tan ones, those are greater kudu, those are females. Males have long horseshoe-like horns that are really cool to look at, but the girls are just as pretty without them. Alright, now we're going to head over towards the Safi River and see what's going on down there. But before we get there, by a show of hands, is this anybody's first safari? Alright, well, welcome aboard, new and returning friends. My name is Juliana, I'm from Alabama, and I am so excited to be your safari guide today. We're going to have a real good time. Hopefully everyone gets to see something they never seen before or learn something they never heard. Alright, now we made it to the river. I can already see pink-backed pelicans, black vultures. I was like, if you look down in the water, this can be a great place to find hippos. Now, pink-backed pelicans get their name for the pink coloration on their backs during their mating season. Black vultures are very good friends to hippos, like over to your left-hand side. They will eat the dead skin off a hippo like a spa treatment. And if that's not a good friend, I don't know what is. If your friends don't do that, get new friends, I guess. A group of hippos is called a bloat. An easy way to remember that is bloat rhymes with float, and floating is something that hippos don't do very often. We got one swimming next to us right now to your left. They will bounce up every couple of minutes, get a big breath of air. As they come up for air, their ears are above the surface of the water. They can still hear below the surface by picking up vibrations in their jawbone. I just think it's so cool. You can also see hippos over on the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail after the safari is over. Just around the river bend, these are Nile crocodiles. They are, on average, the largest crocodile species in Africa. Please stay seated at all times. Now, although they are holding very still right now, when it comes time for them to strike their prey or defend themselves, they are incredibly fast and strong.
River puppies.
Up at the top of this hill, there is a great big beautiful tree called a baobab tree, also known as the tree of life, which I'm sure you've heard of somewhere before. The reason it's called that is it has a hollow tank in its trunk where it can save water. So whenever there is a drought on the savanna, animals can go up to the baobab tree, punch a hole inside of it, and drink out like a water cooler, therefore giving them life, living up to its nickname, the tree of life. That's going to be coming up on your right-hand side in just a second here. Now they're also called the upside-down tree, because their branches, like a root structure, almost has been picked up, flipped over, and put upside down on the ground again. Alright, now we've made it to the savannah, where we're going to see a lot of really cool animals, probably all together at one time. Don't worry, I will talk about every single animal out here. I just might wait until we're as close as I can get us to it before I talk about it. That way you can see any physical characteristics I'm going to take the time to describe. Whereas the animals that live in the forest rely on their ability to blend in to keep them safe from any dangers lurking around, the animals on the savanna rely on their speed and agility, and some of them can even kick pretty hard to protect themselves from all sorts of predators. Now, speaking of predators, here in just a few minutes, we're going to be up close to a den where predators passing through this area will sometimes seek shelter. So be prepared. It looks like coming up down here, we have already found some Ancoli cattle. Their horns get 3 to 4 foot long each and have a honeycomb-like structure inside that allows blood to flow through, helping them regulate their body's temperature. And they were worshipped in ancient Egypt, so they found hieroglyphics dating back 6,000 years. Hanging out with the Ancoli cattle, you can see some Hartman's mountain zebras. They are the only zebra species to have a dewlap, which is a little jiggly skin flap that hangs off the bottom side of their neck and helps them regulate their body's temperature. A group of zebras is called a dazzle. As they're all standing in a dazzle together, their stripes start to blend in with one another, creating an optical illusion that can discombobulate predators and make it hard for them to single out just one zebra to make their prey. So it's sort of a defense mechanism in a way. Over to our right, we have also found giraffes. They are the tallest land animals in the world, getting 16 to 20 foot tall when fully grown. They have a 6 foot long neck, so it takes incredibly high blood pressure to push blood all the way up to their noggin. So to accommodate high blood pressure, they need a really big heart. So a giraffe's heart is the size of a basketball. Alright, now over to our left is that den that I mentioned. You can sometimes find predators around, so keep an eye out over there. Now as we get close to the giraffes, keep a lookout for their tongues that are 18 inches long and purple. The purple coloration keeps their tongue from being sunburned in the hot savanna sun. Over to our left, you can see some sable antelope laying down. They are the mascots of our reserve because when given the choice between running away or fighting in a situation, they will always choose to fight. Just like we here who work on the reserve will always fight for wildlife and encourage others to do the same thing as well. The red and brown structures that you see sticking up everywhere are termite mounds, made of mostly poop, saliva, and mud. Once they bake in the hot savanna sun, they get as hard as concrete and make really good scratching posts for large animals. Alright, here we're getting up close to the giraffes. Alright, now as we go around this corner, out in the open, you can see some wildebeest and some tiny little antelope that are called springbok. Now, though they are tiny, they are mighty. They can jump 6 to 8 foot high and leap 13 foot across. They also do this thing called pronking, where they bounce up and down really quickly like a kid with too much sugar. As they bounce, they secrete a sweet smell from their rear end that smells like honey. As for wildebeest, they will migrate across Africa in a herd, with about 1.5 million of them all together at one time. Since there's so many moving at once, you can apparently see the dust sticking up from outer space. Here's a real close view of the springbok. Okay, now coming up on your left-hand side, past all these palm trees, there's some great big antelope. They're called eland. My favorite thing about the eland is when the male eland is in the mood to impress the ladies, he'll create a flower crown to go on top of his head, so he looks very handsome. Looks like he's working on one right now. Now, sometimes though, he'll just pull a bush out of the ground, put it on top of his head, and dirt goes everywhere. But he still looks real good. Alright, now we're heading over to a part of the reserve now where I heard the warden say earlier this morning there's migration of elephants passing through. So I'm hoping there's some still around. African elephants are the largest land animals in the world, sometimes reaching a top weight of 14,000 pounds. African elephants have incredibly sensitive skins. They will throw dirt on their back in what's called a dust bath. And the dirt works as a sunblock and insect repellent to protect their super duper sensitive skin. Over to our left hand side, past those trees, you can see some mandrills. Since full-grown dominant male mandrills like that one can sometimes reach about 120 pounds sometimes, they are considered the largest monkey species in the world. They have a red and blue coloration on their faces and rear ends that brightens as they get excited. For a lot of primates, when they smile at one another, it's a sign of friendliness. Whereas for others, it means aggression. Now, for mandrills, they mean it in a friendly way, just like we do. We were having a big problem with elephants getting onto farmers' crops and trampling their food and eating their food, and the farmers really didn't like that because that's their livelihood. It's how they take care of their families. So the farmers were trying to get rid of those elephants, and we couldn't let that happen. So here at the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, along with the Disney Conservation Fund and the Save the Elephants program, working together and using our elephants here, we learned because of their super duper sensitive skin, African elephants don't like bees. So we shared that information with the farmers, who were then able to put beehives on their fences. So whenever the elephants got too close to their crops, the bees would come out and sting them. And once an elephant has been stung by a bee one time, they tend to avoid that area the rest of their life. They have a fantastic memory. And one little bee sting is a lot better for the elephant than losing your life entirely. So it saved the elephant population, it saved the farmers' crops, and it gave the farmers a new source of income through the hunting. And all it took was paying attention to these gorgeous elephants out here in our reserve, learning everything we can about them, and then applying that knowledge to how we can protect them as well. But we still have a lot to learn. The pregnancy for an African elephant can last for almost 2 whole years. 22 months to be exact. A little girl elephant will stay with her mom her entire life and will actually raise her own babies one day in the same herd her mom is in. But little boys, once they reach that special time in everyone's life, around 13 to 15 years old, they break off into solitude on their own or join a bachelor herd where they hang out with just the boys for the rest of their days. In a herd of females, there can be anywhere from 2 to 40 full-grown adult ladies along with their babies. They are led in a herd by what's called the matriarch, which is the big head mama that shows them where to go for food, water, and safety. Information is passed to her through generations of matriarchs, just like her. Now, I just saw a little bit of movement out past that baobab tree that's directly ahead of us right now. But look out, it could have been a squirrel or it could have been an elephant. You never know out here. Alright, now we are going to get a good look at these greater flamingos. They're the largest species of flamingo, getting to be 5 foot tall and fully grown. They're also the lightest in pink coloration they get from the beta carotene and the brine, shrimp, and other small aquatic creatures they eat. The island they're standing on is one of the largest hidden Mickeys on Disney property, where Mickey's nose meets, so the trees come out of.
Woohoo!
As we go around these orange rocks, there is a mud wallow, which is a great place for rhinos to roll around in the mud to get covered in it to work as a sunblock for them. So hopefully we'll find them close by. Must have been a squirrel over there. For a long time through history, rhinos have been poached, or in other words, illegally hunted to get their horn that was thought to be made into medicine in some cultures. But later it's realized their horns made of keratin, the same thing as our fingernails and hair, and has no medical use. But still to this day, they are poached, and their horn is sold on the black market. So, because of all that poaching, we've lost a very large number of rhinos out of the world that we're supposed to have. And we've actually lost some species altogether entirely. Currently, worldwide, there's only 5 types of rhinos left. And we are very lucky at the 2 species that we do here in our reserve. Alright, now keep a good look on that hill to your left. I see some cheetahs walking around over here. Cheetahs are the fastest land animals in the world. They can reach a top speed of 70 miles an hour, but they can go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. As they run full speed, they use their tail like a boat rudder to help them turn. There's a few more over here to your left. Now we're getting really close to where people have recently spotted some African lions. Sadly, in the last 30 years, we have lost half the wild lion population. A lot of that is of humans overpopulating their hunting grounds and taking away their food source in the process. So they're running out of things to eat out there. The lions on our reserve can only be spotted around this copy, which is this great big rock formation coming up on our left. Now, if you see them, the easiest way to tell the male apart from the female is all the hair around the male lion's head, which is called his mane, and it's not just a fashion statement. It's going to protect his neck if he were to have to defend his position among other male lions who might try to take over his pride, or in other words, his family. Looks like we do have a few ostriches coming up on your right. They're the largest birds in the world, but they are flightless. They use their wings to help them turn when running. They run about 40 miles an hour at their top speed. And over to our left, we have found the lioness. She's laying down with her back to us right now. When a lion roars, it really doesn't sound like it does in the movies. It's more of a short burst they do over and over again, but it's absolutely beautiful to hear. And if they do it loud enough and there's not too much noise pollution around, it can be heard from up to 5 miles away. Now, the sound that you normally hear in the movies is actually the roar of a tiger. Alright, so we did find the white rhinos. But also, if we look over here to our left, right over that corner, those are warthogs. They are Africa's largest burrowing mammal. They dig out their burrows using their front feet and their tusks, and then back up into the burrow, into their tusks at the front as defense. Alright, it looks like we're going to be really close to them. You might be able to hear them grunting as we pass by. Just again, make sure to keep your hands inside and stay seated. Great job, everybody. That was so cool. Now, since we've lost a large number of rhinos over time because of poaching here at Disney's Animal Kingdom, we have a species farm plan for white rhinos, and we have had 13 baby rhinos born here in the last 25 years this park has been open. 2 of the rhinos are born here now, all grown up and have been released to the wild of Africa, where they're now having babies of their own, contributing even further to the population's growth, which is so cool, but there's still so much work in conservation to be done. And I'll tell you how you can make a difference here after we check out these Nigerian dwarf goats. Domesticated animals like Nigerian dwarf goats are very important in the conservation of wildlife, because we as humans rely on domesticating animals for things that they can survive instead of relying as much on wildlife. A lot of the animals that we have here in our reserve are nearly threatened or even endangered in the wild. For animals like elephants and rhinos and lions, we humans are the #1 threat they face. Since we're the #1 threat, it is also our #1 responsibility to them, so we should be protected and taken care of, so they can be around for generations to come to enjoy just as much as we did here today. Now, the way that you can make a difference today is by contributing to the Disney Conservation Fund at any Animal Kingdom merchandise location. Just choose the amount of your choice, whether it's a few cents or a few dollars. We appreciate every penny. And Disney will double the amount ever you donate, and it all goes into the Conservation Fund, where you do projects worldwide for animals that really need our help. Now, there are plenty of ways that you can make a difference works from home. A simple way that doesn't take a whole lot of effort is